Hello everybody, it's Casey here, back for a new reaction. So if you've been following my channel for a while now, actually probably for most of the year here, maybe a little bit longer than that, then you'll know that I have, for my recent reaction videos, I have been doing reactions to these original animated short films, which were all recommendations by a YouTuber called the Mysterious Mr. Enter, who did a series a few years ago called Animations from the Web, where he recommended different original animated short films. And I have been very slowly going through his recommendation list, and as of right now, this is it, folks. We are finally at the end of the list. At least for now. I mean, I'm sure that after this, I'm probably going to go back to reacting to, like, regular, canon stuff like fandoms and things like that. But, so I'll be finally taking a break from doing these original short film reactions for a bit. I don't want to ever say that it's totally the end of it, though. I actually did get some recommendations from you guys in the comments, which I have written down ready to go. So, and thank you all for that. And so probably someday I will eventually get back to doing more reactions to original things. But for now, at least in terms of what was recommended by the Mysterious Mr. Enter, this is the final one on my list. And what we have here today, it's a very short video, and kind of ironic that we started this journey with a video that was, I believe it was Going Green that we started with, and it was only like 4 or 5 minutes long, so how appropriate that we end this journey with one that's only 5 minutes long. But it came out over 13 years ago, so here's another old one for you, but better late than never. And all I know is that it's called Out of Sight. And I wish that I could read the description here, but unfortunately it's not in English at all. It's all written in, I think it's either I'm pretty sure it's Chinese. I don't think that's Japanese. I don't know. I mean, as always, I'll provide links to the original video into the description so that you'll be able to watch this for yourself later without my commentary over it. But yeah, I unfortunately can't read anything else about this. It's all in another language. Hopefully, if any of you guys out there know which language this is, then feel free to tell me. It's probably either Chinese or maybe Vietnamese or Mandarin. I don't know. I'm so sorry. All I know, I know a tiny little bit about what this is possibly about thanks to the Mysterious Mr. Enter, but if you guys haven't seen this yet or haven't even heard of this, I'm not going to even spoil anything else, which in a way, maybe that's a good thing that the description isn't in English, because then we're going in as blind as possible. And from what little I do know about it, blind, I think, is a very appropriate word for this one, as we're about to see. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Here it is, the final Mysterious Mr. Enter reaction. This is Out of Sight. Ready? 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, it's like watercolors. Oh! Ooh. That jerk off! What did this do? How old is this girl? Like 5 or 6 years old? How much money did he think he was going to get out of her? Like $5? Oh man. This almost reminds me of something that, like, Studio Ghibli would put out. Whoa. Aww. This is probably all you're gonna hear me say through this whole thing is just, aww. Oh, I don't know if I run. Oh, yep. Oh, the animation is so good. How appropriate that she's dressed like a witch. It's almost like Kiki's delivery service there. I keep expecting Gigi to pop up in the window there. So if you guys haven't picked up on this by now, this girl is blind. Oh, what's it gonna be? That's why everything keeps popping in and out of existence, because she doesn't know what it looks like, so it changes shape as she figures out what it is. Oh, this like perfectly encapsulates what like the imagination of a kid is like. Oh, kid, I wish. That would be so awesome. Hey, he got a purse back. Got him. Oh, so adorable. So adorable. Alright, everybody, that was Out of Sight. And oh man, that was so cute. So yeah, so if you guys didn't figure out from the start, this little girl is blind, and even though she wasn't wearing like the kind of like cliche sunglasses or anything, you could tell just from her kind of like blank stare and the way she had to like maneuver in her environment there that she couldn't see. So we were getting what her perspective was the whole time on what she thought that she was interacting with, and I think it's best encapsulated when she meets that little cat in the alley, and it starts off as just this blob because she doesn't know what it is, but the second it meowed, it turned into a cat, and then she realized, oh, it's a cat. Like, so this is probably, like, it's so creative the way that they showed, like, the combination of a kid's imagination with an actual, like, blind person's imagination, trying to figure out just by either the smells or the sounds of what something could possibly be. Like when she was passing people on the street and she smells the lady's perfume, and the lady kind of looks like a flower, and then she smells like cologne and she's like, ugh, and then you realize, like, the person going by, he sprouts like a top hat and stuff, and she realizes, oh, it must be a gentleman here because he has cologne. Like, it's just so cool, like, how they show, like, the sound waves, like, rippling out as she realizes, like, what kind of environment she's in, or how much space she has between the walls, which, from what I've heard, that actually is something that blind people do or can do, where they'll clap or whistle or make a sound so that they can determine how big of a space that they're in. Really, I would say the only thing that kind of concerns me, though, is that clearly this is her seeing eye dog, and for what I know, I think seeing eye dogs especially, but pretty much service animals in general, they are supposed to be trained to stay with their person no matter what. So unless this girl was suddenly, like, getting attacked by the robber, like the pickpocketer there, that dog really honestly should not have chased after that guy. He should have stayed with that girl the whole time. So, but then of course we wouldn't have a story here, but even so, it takes something that normally would probably be, like, terrifying, or the thought of it would be terrifying, the idea of this little blind girl suddenly on her own and just, like, randomly roaming around the city looking for her dog, and they change, but from doing it from her perspective, they change it into something that's really, like, imaginative and adorable, like, especially when she hears the plane going by and she imagines, like, just from the sound, like the whale flying through the air, or the water that's going down the street, she imagines it like a river going down the street, and you know it goes by quick, but if you go in slow motion, you'll notice all of the cars had tails and things. She was imagining them like fish. But yeah, just, like, so cool to get such, like, a different perspective on what things could be, and I think it actually would be kind of a neat exercise where you yourself, if you're a regular sighted person, to one day just either close your eyes or put a blindfold on and just try and walk around, like, just try to maneuver around your house or out in your neighborhood and see, like, if you could even do it, or trying to imagine, like, just by the sounds or the smells or the touch, like, what do you think something could be at all. And it really puts into perspective just, like, what blind people go through every day, like, having to maneuver through their environment and stuff. And obviously this was a more, like, cute take on it, but this is definitely something I would, like, show to little kids too, to show them, like, well, here is what, like, another person goes through, you know? But yeah, that's it. That was Out of Sight, and that was probably, like, out of this whole series of reacting to the Mysterious Mr. Enter's recommendations, that was probably the perfect one to end off on. Like, we started with 3D, we end with 2D, we started with one that was short, so we ended with one that was short, and we started with one that was pretty cute, and so after these past couple videos that had a lot of, like, mature rated dark material in it, I think it was pretty refreshing that it worked out that we ended on one that was, like, just really, just so chill and adorable, and also neat that even though, like I said in the beginning, I wasn't able to read the description or anything because none of it was in English, this is a perfect example of one that you didn't even really need it to be like it didn't matter that the end credits was in another language at all, because there wasn't really any dialogue in this either. Like, you could watch it in any language, show it to anybody in the world, and they would understand what was going on. And that's probably like the best example of like what art can do, that you could show something, you could have something made in one particular country and show it to anybody else in the world, and they still connect with it, they still know what's going on in it. If you guys have ever seen any of the Domo-kun shorts from Japan, that's like another good example where that's how I got into it, where even then when the people were all speaking Japanese, it didn't matter. Like, just by their actions you could still get the gist of what was going on. And it's the same here. But that's it, and that's it for the Mysterious Mr. Enter recommendation series here. But like I said earlier, it's not the end of me reacting to original animated stuff. Thanks to you guys' recommendations, I do have a brand new list of things that I'll eventually react to. Probably gonna take a break from this for a bit and go back to reacting to fandom-related stuff for at least a little while. But as always, if you guys have any recommendations for things that you want me to react to, either completely original or fandom related, then feel free to leave a comment. And as always, be sure to check out the links to the original video in the description here so you can see it for yourself. Give these people the view. Support these original creators, because Lord knows we need them. And until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and bye-bye.